Hello everyone, thank you very much for joining me. I feel like you will find this video to be really informative and helpful as we head into 2021. So, the backstory behind this information being shared is this. So when I go into the records, right after I go through the process of doing the rituals and opening the portals, I just sort of sit in that void and I wait for any presence to come forward who would like to share information. And I do this before I ask anything else, before I approach anybody else. And I feel like that has become the purest way for me to receive, absorb, and absorb information and bring it back with me. And almost immediately lately, the presence that's been coming forward is the Pleiadians. So the reason for this is because the Pleiadians have a special interest in you. They are our closest galactic relatives, and they have a very high interest in what's going on here collectively and personally with you as well. And they are always there to offer their guidance and assistance to you. And the reason for this is because your success is their success. And you being successful and being where you need to be is very personal and a very big responsibility to them. So keep that in mind as we go forward. So when I was approached, I asked, what can we do to help you guys help us? So basically, instead of asking, hey, what are you guys going to do for us? What can you do for us? I asked what we can do to help them. And they were very clear and very specific. And the goal for 2021 is to increase our capacity for light. And they are doing this by helping us integrate our crystalline cellular structure and eliminating the old carbon-based one. So the reason we're doing this at this time is because as the opposition on this planet increases their efforts and their tactics to remain in power and maintain control, which they are losing rapidly, it is up to us to hold and carry more light in order to counter that. So there are going to be a lot of things going on for you physically, and many of you have noticed after the 21st of December passed that there have been some aches and pains, some headaches, some trouble sleeping, restlessness, anxiety, a lot of things coming to the surface that are kind of uncomfortable. And so what we can do to help manage these symptoms and shorten that timeline that it's taking us to integrate these higher levels of light is expose ourselves to frequencies. And YouTube is a great source for that, obviously. But the key here is to, I found a YouTube page that has just the frequencies. Let me look it up real quick. It is called Sounds, Tones, and Noises. I will post the link to that in the description. So the reason you want it to be just the frequency is because there's no delusion. And a lot of these YouTube channels that are posting frequency-based meditations and things of that nature are deluding themselves by adding different things into them. Like music and nature tones, all things that under normal circumstances are good and help, but we want to get the purest source that we can. And if you're not able to generate those frequencies yourself, that YouTube channel is going to be a big help for you. And it's important to use these frequencies while you sleep. And what are these frequencies doing? So over time, knowing consciously or not, we consume things on this earth. We walk and breathe the air. We do a lot of things that contain contamination, and we don't really realize it. Even if you're trying to live as clean and as pure as you can, chances are your body, your vessel, is going to get infiltrated by some things that you don't want. And what do these contaminants do? So basically, they manipulate your cellular structure, and they change the frequency of your cells and DNA, most of the time lowering it, but it ends up with you operating at a vibrational frequency that is less than appropriate. And what we can do to assist this transitional period is expose ourselves to frequencies so that the molecular structure of the water in our bodies can facilitate a greater path to transition into these new higher frequencies that we're going to be required to operate at in order to access this crystalline structure and the light body and all the activations that come with it. Because we are now being expected to put our new tools to use to counter the increasingly inappropriate tactics that are being used by the opposition. Like I said before, so it's not really opposition. That's basically like saying a little league team can compete with the Yankees. It's where we're going and what we're doing is already set in stone. But what we can do is dedicate ourselves to our missions personally so that obviously that timeline is going to be shortened, and the people on this planet, and yourself included, deserve to have that peaceful, appropriate paradise that we're all looking to live in. So expose yourselves to frequencies. Do this at night. You don't have to have it blaring really loud. Even a little bit is better than none. And those frequencies are going to carry information to your cells, notifying them that it's time to transform and change into the butterfly, pretty much. So keep that in mind. And also, what frequency is best for you is going to be based on your intuition. Your guides and your higher self might have a different plan for you than someone else. But whatever you feel drawn to is going to be appropriate for you. But what I feel most people are going to be drawn to is 528. So that is the base resonance, the base frequency of the universe and love in general. And your cells are going to be very happy to respond to that. So expose yourselves to these frequency and create a cocoon where your guides and your higher self can do some work on you to get you to transition into that next phase peacefully and appropriately. So, moving on, the next thing that came forward was that 2021 is the year of choice and the year of manifestation. And the prior years of your awakening have been about whittling away old programming and old energies, so that when this decision point comes, the decisions you make are of pure intent, and you make sure that you come from the heart, and you aren't necessarily reacting to whatever current energy you're existing in that may not at the time be one that's pure. So some of you feel like you've been straight up blocked from manifesting, and in case you're wondering, that's why. It's because what you were trying to create at that time was not in alignment with your highest timeline of where you're trying to go. So now that you've cleared all that garbage away, you're going to start being presented with decisions that are very, very important. And always make sure that you're choosing the highest timeline, even if it's uncomfortable in the now moment. It's very important that you honor the God inside and choose what is highest for everybody involved, because our decisions impact those around us. It is inevitable, not meaning that you should concede what you want so that they aren't affected, or so they get what they want and you don't get what you want, but you should always be considerate and come from a place of integrity in whatever you're doing here as a light worker, because the way you behave and the way you respond and react to things is going to be amplified in the eyes of those who are witnessing it. So keep that in mind and always carry yourself with integrity and make sure that master is on the surface and displayed for all to see. So yeah, it's looking like 2021 is going to be an exciting year for all of us. Make sure you prepare yourself, detoxify yourself, and put yourself in the path of least resistance so that you can bring forward all that you deserved if it is in divine alignment with your highest timeline. And make sure that you carry yourself in a way that others are going to look at you and want to know what you have. Because most of your energy and the way you're perceived is just by your behaviors that people are observing, not necessarily the words that are coming out of your mouth. So, on this timeline, now more than ever, people are going to be watching you, so keep that in mind. And thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all the feedback I'm getting on this channel lately. Appreciate the donations, appreciate the Patreon members, and something you guys can do that's really going to help me out, probably more than anything else, is just simply giving a like to this video. You guys have been doing a really good job at that, and very grateful to have you guys here with me. Thank you very much. Goodbye.